versus more cover on my head.
And you got more cover on your head.
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? We are in Houston, Texas. The road trip is complete. I am here. I am super excited about the Century ride. I talked about it in my last episode of Cycle Talk, and it's Thursday evening. The ride is on Saturday morning at 7 o'clock, right? And I have the routes. I'll put up so you kind of see what it looks like. It looks pretty straightforward. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull it up for you real quick, right? Like I said, today's Thursday. Dad will be here tomorrow. I think he's gonna get here in the afternoon, and I'm so excited for Dad to be here. And I'm gonna get him on camera. We're gonna talk about it and get some additional footage, right? So this is probably gonna be like a bunch of videos all together so that way you could kind of see like my whole experience going through my first Century ride. But looking at the route, man, it looks like it's on point, man. The from zero to the most elevation is 60 feet. That's exactly what I need, man. I'm ready to get this ride done. I see a couple segments on here. Um, yeah, pretty straightforward route, man. Oh, I am ready to get this thing going. Total distance 101 miles, 101.88 miles. I don't know about this 1.88, bro. They said 100. I need to just do 100. Let me stop playing. So it's 101.88 miles, and the elevation is 243 feet. I think this is excellent. I think this is excellent. Like I said, never done a Century. Me and my dad gonna knock it out. I'm thinking about when me and my dad did the marathon. We did a Honolulu marathon back in 2015, and just the experience, man. It was super dope. I'm so excited for it. To be honest, besides the Century ride, besides being on the bike, I'm just excited to see my dad, man. I'm so freaking excited to see my dad. And I'm so excited to get everything set up and do some filming with him. I really want to put out some content and just get another dynamic to the channel because most of the time it's just me talking, right? And I'll be trying to get other people to get involved with the channel so that way I can just bring some other folks on. But anyway, like I said, we are in Houston. It's Thursday evening. I just want to get a little intro, tell you how I'm feeling. Dad will be here tomorrow. More content coming. All right.
All right.
Century ride.
That's it.
You ready?
Man, we've been planning this thing for
Too long.
too long. Man,
Yeah.
finally get a chance to get it done.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we kind of been talking about it a little bit and strategy.
Mhm.
What are you thinking about? What's something that's like in your mind that you probably need to pay attention to for the ride?
I think the big thing for me is going to be to stay in the right zone.
Mm.
Don't get too full of myself in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to definitely stay in that zone too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I got the same type of mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So for me on my Garmin, I got a couple different pages set up, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the pages I have set up is it tells me what zone I'm in and it tells me my actual watts.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think that's going to be my primary screen that I'm going to be watching the most.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm going to be trying to pay attention to the distance,
Mm-hmm.
at least not in the beginning. I'm
Yeah.
like, I got to stay in that zone. If I can stay within like maybe zone 1 or like the top of zone 2, I think that'd be perfect.
Mhm.
That's what I'm telling myself.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah, and definitely understanding we want to be in the peloton,
Hmm.
but we don't want to run if the peloton takes off.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's one of the things I thought was different too, because like I said, when we talk about it, should be the time to do it because it should be a bunch of people
Mm-hmm.
actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't even think about like the Peloton. What if the Peloton's flying? Am I trying to keep up with the Peloton or are we trying to do our own thing? But I also don't want to be left as well. So
Right.
I'm hoping we could just sit in and get a nice draft and just, let the Peloton work and we're not doing that much work.
I know. I mean, it'd be nice to be going 21, 23 miles an hour
Yeah.
and feel like I'm doing 15.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a good race. I mean, truth be told, we've done some rides, some long rides, short rides, and this will be the test.
This is definitely the test.
This is the test,
For bike choice,
Uh-huh.
you got a couple different bikes.
Okay, yeah. So I've got a Trek Del Monte SLR 7, and I've got an Elves Pro Disc,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got a Fuji 2.5 LE.
Okay.
So when I started thinking about what bike to ride,
Hmm.
it was a quick answer.
Uh-huh.
The Elves.
The L's.
The Elves Pro Disc is the truth. It's
And
the
that's
truth.
crazy because like
Yeah.
I definitely gotta get some content
Yeah.
on the L's
Yeah.
because we went to this Elf journey at the
Mm-hmm.
same time.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't finish the same. Like
No.
mine concluded very quickly.
Right.
And I'm just like, I've been listening to everything you talk about the L's, and I'm just
Mm.
like, man, I gotta ride this bike and see it for myself. And even just like right now, riding in the parking lot, I was
Yeah.
like, wow, this is probably pretty nice, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Just riding it. It's so smooth. So smooth, and it just goes. It's built to endurance bike, but it just rolls. Yeah, it's my go-to bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm riding the my Bianchi.
Nice.
I love my Trek, but the
Mm-hmm.
Bianchi is I said this 1,000 times on the channel. If I had to describe that bike in one word, it's smooth. It's
Smooth.
just it's so
Yeah.
smooth. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I did a test ride today. Went out, rode 10 miles.
Mm-hmm.
I got the 30s on there, 23 wide internal width, and I was rolling like 62 psi,
Mm-hmm.
and it was extremely comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for the 100 miles tomorrow, I think I'm gonna drop down to maybe like 60
Mm.
psi, and I think it should be
Nice.
insane. I should be pretty good on the bike.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, we're definitely going to get our money's worth tomorrow. Weather's supposed to be nice. I think we should probably take off. It'll probably be about 78-ish. And I think by the time we finish, it should probably be maybe about 92.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
for you, I mean, you're in San Antonio, in
Mm-hmm.
Texas. Weather's probably you're probably kind of used to some of the heat.
Mm-hmm.
Me coming from Georgia, like
Mm-hmm.
today, when I rode today, I think got up to like 91,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, wow, I ain't been in no
Mm-hmm.
Texas heat in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Georgia, I think it's probably been maybe like mid
Mm-hmm.
80s, maybe high
Mm-hmm.
80s, but definitely nothing in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was riding today, I had on an all black kit, and I was like, man, it's cooking out here. So. And that's another thing too, right? For like kit selection.
Right, right.
I
Yeah.
got a kit that I really want to wear,
Right.
but it's like a dark color.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if I'm gonna be too hot. Because
Mm-hmm.
I also got a kit that's a light color,
Mm-hmm.
but then I'm thinking if we get some inclement weather
Mm-hmm.
and then you got the road, the grind,
Mm-hmm.
and that jersey's gonna be destroyed by the 100th mile. So I'm like, I try to miss a good piece of kit, you know?
That's a good point because I'm thinking as well. Do I want uh, light white?
Yeah.
And then I'm also thinking about my helmet.
Okay.
So I've got a helmet that's got a lot of holes in it. Good aerodynamics, but do I want the sun on my head versus more
Yeah.
cover on my head?
And you got more cover on your head.
Yeah. Good point. I guess in the morning I'm making my decision which one to wear. But
What color are they? The helmets? Because you got two, but what colors are?
so the one it's a chameleon,
Okay.
kind of matches the bike.
Okay.
Turns purple, green,
Yeah.
turns those colors. And then I just have a straight white.
I think I'd recommend the white.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of leaning toward the white one.
Because
Yeah.
for me, I'm wearing, regardless whatever kit I'm wearing white shoes, white socks,
Mhm.
white helmet. And I
Okay.
figured that'd be things I don't want hot.
Yeah.
My feet
Right.
and my head. So
Right.
I'm like going white,
Okay.
and I think that's
Okay.
my strategy with that.
Okay. Well, I got the white shoes,
Mhm.
white socks, and my kit is pretty much white.
Okay.
I think we'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the route. Kind of talked about the route.
Yes. Yes.
From what we did from the research,
Mhm.
100 miles, well, 101.88. Total elevation is like what, 233, 234?
234.
I'm like, this should be great.
Mm-hmm.
This should be the perfect route for a century, and it's a down and
Yes.
back. Do 50 miles, turn around, come back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. Wanted to kind of get a look at the route today, but
Mhm.
thought better of it. We'll just go ahead and get out there and knock it out. But yeah, 234 elevation, coming from San Antonio. I normally ride, 13, 23, the elevation's high. But back to the weather though. So
Okay.
in Georgia, you got the humidity.
Yes.
Houston has a little bit of the humidity.
From San Antonio?
Oh, well, Georgia you got a little bit of humidity, right?
But I say it's different because like after being in different places of the world, and then when I came to Texas, people always talking to me about how hot it is in Texas,
Okay.
and the humidity. But it's that dry heat, and to me it doesn't feel that bad when you're moving. Because even like today, like I said, I get out, I could feel the heat from the pavement, and I'm like, man, it's hot. I'm kind of getting going. But once I got going, that dry heat, I kind of got a breeze. It was kind of like I kind of felt cool. It wasn't crazy humidity like when I lived in Japan or like when I lived in Miami. That's the one when you come outside, you just start sweating.
Right,
Like it's
right.
sticking to you. I don't
Right.
feel like that in Texas.
Yeah, definitely not in San Antonio. I mean,
Okay.
it's just dry, cool. So, yeah, tomorrow will definitely be a good ride. Like I said, we got a plan.
Yeah.
We got a few pointers from a few friends. Like my guy Carl says, don't stop for more than 10 minutes.
Yeah. I.
Yeah. So, and we've been hydrating all day.
Yes.
Well, 2 days.
Where you at on your hydration on the day? Like how many ounces do you think you drank today?
I think I've probably around 64 ounces.
64?
Yeah.
Okay, about half a gallon.
About half a gallon.
I would say I got to be about 80 ounces or so.
Okay.
And I feel pretty good. And it's like 9:15 now. I'll probably cut off the water, the hydration around 11. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Okay. And the ride starts at 7. We're gonna break out of here at 6:15. What time are you getting up to get ready? Are you got a morning routine?
Yeah, I'm gonna get up at 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna get up at 5. Get up at 5. Get me a shower. Get dressed. Get me some yogurt and some trail mix.
Okay.
I like that, and I'll get my water intake there in the morning, and then I'll be ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do the same thing. Wake up at 5, take me a shower, get me a shot of espresso, get the pipes going.
Okay. Okay.
And then I'm not gonna drink too much. I'm pretty much gonna be eating. I'm gonna eat me some oatmeal, and maybe half a Cliff Bar, and I think that'll get me. I'll be ready.
All right.
Be ready for that.
All right.
100 miles tomorrow.
That's right.
The next time you see us, we'll be done.
DUN.
A few moments later.
All right, it's time to get this going. Get the start point. Plenty of people out here, plenty of bikes. 70 to go.
70 to go. And it feels pretty good.
Feels good.
All right.
All right, we about 46 miles in. How you feeling?
I feel pretty good.
I feel decent.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get slightly uncomfortable on the bike, but we just had a rest stop, fueled up real quick, and keep it moving.
I was feeling a little tight. We hit about a 10-mile-an-hour headwind, and so we took some short pulls. So feeling better now.
Yeah, I think on the way back, because we almost at the turnaround point, we should be in the tailwind going back, so that should be good for us.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. 50 miles in. I'm at 51. We on the way back. How you feeling?
Feel good.
Feeling good.
Refreshed. Downhill, tailwind.
Got a tailwind. I say from like mile 40 to about mile 50, we was in the headwind, hit the turnaround point. So in the tailwind, taking it home.
All right. Talk to you later.
Wow.
More moments later.
Finally. Let's talk about it. I was about to say the marathon, but not the marathon. The century.
The century.
How you feeling?
Feel pretty good.
Okay.
Feel pretty good. I think we didn't do the recovery ride the day after.
Yeah.
But we did a ride today.
Mm-hmm.
So, but feel pretty good. I think our fitness was
Better than expected.
better than expected.
Did you have a time goal?
I didn't.
Okay.
I
So
did.
total time, I believe it was like 6 hours and 5 minutes. Total ride time. Total time in general, I believe it was like 7:20 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
I feel good about it. Today is Tuesday. For y'all that don't know, it's Tuesday. We did the ride on Saturday, and it was one of the things like I felt like I could have probably rode before now, but it was like listen to your body. And I'd rather been safe than sorry. And I didn't want to be hurt. And because we still got a bunch of riding to do for the rest of the week too. So
70 more miles to get to.
70 more miles.
Yeah.
We want to have 100 miles by the end of the week, and we did 30 this morning. And today I felt good today. There's no issues, no anything.
Yeah, I think the only thing I dealt with was maybe a little soreness, and that was probably not Sunday, but Monday.
Monday
a little sore.
Yeah.
So I took a Motrin and feel better. Yeah.
And the thing that was crazy because like I said, the can't even think the Century was on Saturday, and then they had the recovery ride on Sunday. And the recovery ride was 48 miles. And when I initially seen that, I was like, man, I don't even know if I could do that right after, you know. But then we did some research on the recovery ride, and it actually seemed like it was very beneficial for us to probably do it, even if we didn't do the 48. Just you know, get on the bike and spin the legs and do that. So that was something I never really knew, but I just thought that was probably like more one of those bike formalities.
Right.
You know, everyone rides a big ride, and the next day you have a recovery ride. But the recovery ride actually serves a purpose to your overall recovery from the big ride. So that was interesting when we found that out. So I never knew that.
Me either. You know, to be able to replenish the blood in those muscles that we've damaged. You know, during that time, and we damaged a few muscles.
Okay. Throughout the time of the ride, right? I'm gonna talk about some of the things that I experienced that I for myself, I'm normally doing 30, 35, 40-mile rides. In total time I've been on the bike for like 3 years. I might have done maybe 1 or 2 50-mile rides. I've never done any 60-mile rides. And the furthest ride I ever did was 73 miles. So I've been talking to people, telling them that I'm gonna do the Century. And a lot of folks was telling me, they said, hey man, between like 60, 65, 70, those mile marks, that's where you're probably going to get sore because muscle fatigue, because you just don't do that.
Right.
So that's kind of like what I was expecting. And around mile 40, I wasn't going to say I had muscle fatigue, but I was getting really, really uncomfortable on the bike. Like I was kind of asking myself, like, not if I'm not going to make it, but I'm probably going to have to find something within myself to finish this ride, because I was just so uncomfortable on the bike. And then we had hit that one section, and we was basically going into a headwind for probably like 10, 12 miles.
Yeah,
and it
about
was
4 miles, yeah.
Man, I mean, what were you thinking when we hit that point?
When we hit that point, I said all bets are off. Literally. I mean, we hit a 12-mile-an-hour wind, and a good thing we had a good group. I think we had maybe 7 riders.
Yeah.
7 riders. So we took short pulls, and we kind of made it through that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I think the ride was predominantly flat for the most part. You know, 0, maybe, I think at the hardest, maybe +2. So I think at that point we were at +2. We got to that turnaround point, and man, that was a game changer.
Yeah, so when we talk about elevation, right? I know when we did the route recon and we was looking at it, I thought we was estimating it was like 243 feet, right? So looking at the ride, I'm on Strava right now looking at the stats. Total elevation, we did 587. So this I want to say, was it one way? It was the 2 one way.
Yeah, the math kind of works. Yeah, kind of works.
But it was kind of weird because when we got done, like I said, I looked at the elevation. I'm like, almost 600 feet. Like, that's like almost 300 something more feet.
We got bamboozled.
somebody gave us the wrong route. But it wasn't too bad. Like you said, it was pretty much flat. Like I said, that 40-mile mark, that's when I really was getting uncomfortable on the bike. And then we was going into that long headwind. And I was kind of getting unmotivated, you know. And then I was expecting the next rest stop to probably be at mile 50 or after, but it actually was at like mile 46. And then that kind of mentally broke me.
Right.
Because I'm like, man, we stopped and we're not even halfway done.
Right. And then on top of that, we get to I think it was mile 49. Mile 49. And we see this big old bridge. And it looks like it's probably 13% grade. I'm like, it's over.
What it reminded me of is like, you know, you be riding, like you about to cross a big body of water.
Yeah.
and then the bridge that split. So the
Right,
ferries
right.
could go through. That's what it looked
Right.
like. That's what I was thinking. Hey, I was looking at this bridge like this is not good.
This is the game changer.
Oh man, but
Yeah.
the turnaround point was right before that. So
Yeah.
that worked out good because
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That probably would have broke me too.
Yeah.
You know. So we get to the turnaround point,
Mm.
and the turnaround point was actually under that bridge,
Under the bridge.
which was good because we had a bunch of
Yes.
shade. We got to chill for a little bit,
Mhm.
and in my opinion, I think we rested a little too long. But
Mm.
we had like that group of like 7, 8 people.
Mhm.
I didn't want to leave them because we was working good together. I was like, you know what? Let everybody get a chance to
Mhm.
recover to whatever level they need to recover, and
Yes.
then we're gonna roll out as a
We're
group.
gonna
But that
roll out.
was that kind of worked out
Yeah.
because on the way back,
Mhm.
man, I say probably from like mile 51, 52 to probably coming back,
Mhm.
you know, the next 12, 13 miles, man, we was in the tailwind
Oh yeah.
and we was rolling because
We
I
was
know a
rolling.
couple times I'm looking at my bike computer, I'm doing probably like 21,
Mhm.
22,
Mhm.
and I'm looking at my power
Mhm.
and I'm doing like under 100
Under
watts,
100 watts. Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
So, do you remember what you averaged for your power at the end?
I think it was 118.
Okay,
I think it was 118. But like you said, I mean, once we hit that turnaround point, it started going downhill.
start going downhill.
It kind of gave me motivation.
Definitely.
You know, look, you can make it. You can just keep focused and just keep it moving.
Mhm.
And then we kind of remember some of the mile markers.
Mhm.
And so we seen the people fishing on the side of the road. And it's like,
Yep.
okay, you know, once we get back to there, we know we hit the turn.
Mhm.
There's another rest stop.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the ride, man, I think it was good.
Mhm.
I think I probably gave it more respect than it needed.
Yeah, because when it comes to something like long and endurance, right? The
Mhm.
only thing I have to compare this to was when we ran the marathon in
Okay.
2015.
Mm-hmm.
And the marathon was a totally different animal,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And the thing that was crazy, I felt like I was more prepared for the marathon than I was the
Mm.
century.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I did the century way better.
Mm-hmm.
But I think another thing too is the goal that I think we both agreed was we just want to finish.
Just want to finish. Yeah.
You know, it wasn't if we was going to finish.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to finish
Mm-hmm.
and figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So when we ran the marathon, I didn't really have I didn't have the data and the matrix to support
Mm.
what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
On the bike, it was a totally different game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I'm looking at the ride. You know, average speed was 16 miles an hour, and I really wasn't worried about speed. I was
Mm-hmm.
worried about my power.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be in my zone 1, zone 2. So
Right.
my average power for the ride was 94 watts, which was great. I did great power
Mm-hmm.
management. In my zone 1 and zone 2 combined, if we look at the percentage, it was 68% zone 1,
Mm-hmm.
22% zone 2.
Mm-hmm.
I spent 90% of the ride
Mm-hmm.
in my zone. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew if I stayed in the zone,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't fatigue and I wouldn't burn out. And that kind of worked for me. So as I was riding, regardless if it was mile 10 or mile 80,
Mm-hmm.
I've been managing and I could see that data to
Mm-hmm.
support my game plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have that in the marathon. So I think I think that's probably one of the things that made it harder because I didn't know, was I going too hard or was I going too soft? I just knew, I got,
Mm-hmm.
I did 6 miles. I got 20 miles left to run,
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I don't know how that was for you with like, do you feel like you had the data to
Well,
support?
you know what? When we first took off, we kind of talked about strategy.
Hmm.
You know, what we wanted to do, like you said, we just wanted to finish. But I think when we said, you know what, we're going to stay in zone 2,
Hmm.
and as we got to going, uh, uh, the peloton, the groups that we were with, whenever they hit a turn, they were
It was
like
gone.
they were like rapids,
Yeah,
and we said we could not sustain
definitely.
this,
Yeah,
so we had to cut that group loose. And,
yeah.
I think at that point, yeah.
Because in the
Hmm.
beginning, I want to say I would liked us to probably got into the 5 hour time frame,
Hmm.
and I think we were so close because we
Ooh,
finished at 6 hours 5 minutes. I think
right.
if we would have gotten the 5 hour somewhere in that time frame, I just think it would have been a little more respectable. I mean, who's riding 100 miles? So that's already a level of respect, you know.
I think for me, when we ran the marathon,
Hmm.
I didn't give it the respect it did.
Okay.
I trained well, did the half marathon. I mean, ran a bunch of 10Ks, you know.
Hmm.
So, but the nutrition and the
Yeah.
hydration,
Yeah.
that was really in the back of my mind. So I said, you know what, just make sure you take care of those two things.
Hmm.
And then we talked about the zone. I said, okay, we got those three factors. Let's just concentrate on those, and we'll be okay.
Okay.
So the hydration, man, I drink a lot of water. A lot of water, a lot of Gatorade, and it got me through. I mean, yeah, truth be told, I did cramp up. I think at a mile, I want to say mile 63,
Mm-hmm.
63. I got a severe cramp in the right leg, and I said to myself, "Don't stop." You know,
Yeah,
if
keep going.
if you got to pedal with one leg,
Pedal one
pedal
leg.
one leg. So I'm pedaling with one leg, and then I'm shaking the right leg out. Finally, the right leg begins to cooperate, comes
Uh,
back in, and we get to going. But yeah, I think it was. I'm just glad we got finished.
Damn.
And that last 20 miles, I think we averaged.
Yeah, we was rolling.
We were rolling.
The last 20, I
Yeah.
say we probably averaged probably like 2021.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of times I looked down and we was doing like 23, 24.
Oh yeah.
We was rolling.
Yeah.
Now, on the cramp part, I almost thought I wasn't going to cramp the whole
Mm.
ride. Because like I said, everyone was telling me, hey, man, 60, 65, 70,
Mhm.
you're going to be hurting.
Mm-hmm.
And I hit 60,
Mhm.
I hit 65, I hit 70, I hit 75.
Mhm.
And I felt great. No
Mhm.
cramps, no nothing.
Mhm.
And I was just rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Mile 88 was like, hey, we've been
Right.
waiting for this moment. So, but that's when I started cramping. I was like, oh man. And what happened was, I think the total ride, like really kind of getting out the saddle,
Mm.
maybe like 3, 4, 5 times. I really didn't get out the saddle because
Mhm.
I'm trying to stay in my zone.
Mhm.
But for some reason, I got out the saddle either to stretch my legs or something,
Mhm.
and I felt that cramp, kind of like right above my knee,
Mhm.
the bottom of my hamstrings.
Mhm.
And I was, oh man, it made me sit down real quick. And
Mhm.
then,
Kind of startled me when you did it.
and
Yeah.
I just felt it, and I know what that feeling is
Mhm.
because I've had that before,
Right.
So then we start rolling, and we getting closer to the finish,
Mhm.
and we kind of more in town. There's a lot more
Mhm.
lights, and then I know at one light we stopped. I think we was at like mile 95, and I couldn't even extend my leg because as
Mhm.
soon as I extended my leg, it cramped. Like when we stopped at the light, I was literally hanging over the bars, like I got to keep my legs bent.
And I'm like, light change. We got to get going before you
Got to get
cramp
going.
up.
Yeah, but the cramp was but crazy. Like we was talking about nutrition. When I tell y'all my nutrition, right? I think it's surprising to a lot of people. For the total ride, you got like the 550 milliliter bottles, and then you have the bigger
Mhm.
750. I had two 550 bottles on my bike for the entire ride, the whole 101 miles, 6 hours 5 minutes. I think I drank 3 bottles.
Wow.
I drank 3 bottles. I ate half a banana, half a Cliff Bar, 2 Fig Newtons, and maybe 50 salt tablets. But the salt electrolyte tablets, they
Yeah.
work for me. They work for me. I don't know why they keep me going. Like, cause when I drink a lot on the bike, I
Yeah.
eat a lot on the bike. I don't know. It just fills my stomach up. I
Mhm.
start burping and I don't respond well to it.
Mhm.
But like the salt electrolyte tablets I be taking, those things work. And
They
I
do
think I
work.
told you like
Yeah.
I be riding with my buddies, right? And
Mhm.
we go ride, like 35,
Mhm.
40 miles, and we be going. And I have like a little
Mhm.
550 bottle on my bike, and we get finished. I might have drank half of it. And they're
Mhm.
like, "Man, you good?" I said, "Man, I feel great."
Mhm.
But it's like the salt tablets.
Yeah. I was surprised.
Mm.
I was surprised. I think as far as the salt tablets, I took those.
Hmm.
I think pickle juice.
I've never tried
Man,
the
that
pickle
pickle
juice.
juice that saved me.
Uh-huh.
That saved me. They had the what was it, like a plastic tube?
Is it
Kind
is
of.
it like? Do you buy it? You ever heard of like the Go-Gurt? It's like a yogurt and a like a little thin. Is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
like that, or is it somebody? Did
Also,
somebody make it
no. I think it's actual pickle juice that they put into.
like a
Uh,
capsule?
no, it's in a plastic tube. I'm gonna say like a tube,
Hmm.
kind of like when you oh man, almost like a not toothpaste, but it's it's
Yeah.
it's real flexible. It's liquid in it, and
Uh-huh.
you kind of tear it open. Drink it up. But I tell you, I think mile, yeah, I think it was that last two stops.
Hmm.
Got that pickle juice, and that really just kind of just put that cramp to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
So.
never.
Hmm.
I've never. There's a guy I ride with Don. When you see this, I'm talking about you, man. He's
Hmm.
always taking the pickle juice, and I'm like, man, I wonder. I mean, I guess it worked if people taking it, but I've
It
never.
works.
I've never had it. Like I would say last year when I was kind of really trying to pick up my, increase my fitness, be
Right.
more comfortable
Hmm.
on the bike, and I was cramping a
Hmm.
lot, and I was trying to find something. Before I found the salt tablets, the electrolyte tablets,
Hmm.
If that wasn't working, I probably would have jumped into the pickle juice. But I've never tried the pickle juice. I've kind of heard some people say it, but maybe I have to try that one day just to see.
Yeah, pickle juice helped out, and the support on the ride was fabulous.
So one of the things I'm always telling my buddies about is like I don't want to be on the bike for forever. I think at mile 50, I was like, yeah, I'm over this. I still want to get the 100 miles though, but I'm over it. And even when we finish, some people ask us, hey man, would you ride another one? If I were to ride another 100 miles, it'd have to be a well supported one like the one we went on, because I mean it was just unlimited support.
Yeah.
The whole route was mapped out. They had plenty of signs. They had plenty of sag support. If you didn't feel like riding no more, they had people that pick you up. They put your bike on the back. I mean, that was great. But just me myself, I just don't see myself going out and riding 100 miles like without a lot of support.
Yeah,
just in case, peace of mind.
Well supported. Matter of fact, it was the Major Taylor Cycling Club Houston who said they put on the Sizzling Summer
Sizzling
Sizzler.
Summer.
Yeah, Summer Sizzle.
Shout out Major Taylor.
Yeah, Major Taylor. So yeah, they had it well supported. I think, like I said, if I did it again, it would definitely be there. And it's flat, So as a matter of fact, a funny thing about it is, a week ago, 10 days ago, I found out they were having the ride, and I called you and said, "Hey, let's do it."
Listen, so this is what happened, right? I was planning on coming to San Antonio anyway, right? And we was gonna do the Father Son week, and we was gonna ride.
Right.
Last year we rode like 120 miles.
Right.
So the goal for this year is to ride more than 120 miles, and we already passed that, right? And I wasn't supposed to be here till probably like today. Like this week I was supposed to come here, right? And then, it was kind of like leading up to the week. I want to say it was probably like last Friday or something, or maybe it's the beginning of the week.
It was that Saturday.
That Saturday. You called me up. I answered phone.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I was doing. I was like, hey, I'm kind of out and about. Can I call you back? He's like, no, I just got to ask you something real quick. And he was like, you been talking a lot of trash on that bike. You ready to do this 100 miles? I was like, okay, yeah. Where? Saturday. I'm like, I got to drive 15 hours. Get out the car and go ride 100 miles. Like, yeah. So, challenge accepted. And the next thing you know, we knocked it out. So that was pretty cool.
That's good. I mean, and I think overall we kind of looked at, after we got finished, it was like, okay, got the marathon, check.
Yeah.
We talked about doing a century, check.
Yeah.
What's the next box?
What's the next box? I don't know. And like you said, gaining the respect for the ride, I feel different about it because I got guys that ride centuries all the time. And I have a bunch of guys, they normally ride the metric, the 100K, 62 miles. I could see myself maybe getting to a point where I'm riding more metrics, the maybe a metric a month. I think that'd be good for my fitness. And then after riding 100 and kind of like knowing how I felt, I'm pretty sure I could ride a metric a month. I think I could swing that. And then also when we got to mile 30, 31, you kind of seen the other guys already kind of coming back because you got some people that did the metric, and then some people that did the full century. And I was like, that could go because I would say maybe like the first, like you said, the beginning, those folks was taking off.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't know if this is sustainable, And I found myself riding in the big chain ring, and I said, listen, I know you can spin that thing, but we about to do 100 miles. Get out of that. And I think that's what really helped me stay in my zone, was just riding a small chain ring. Riding a small chain ring and then continuously shifting my gears whenever I felt something that was like too much resistance. And I think at the end of the ride, when, on the Garmin, it gives you your shift count. My total rear shift count was like 770, which I thought was like, man, insane, almost 1,000, kind of rounding up on the extreme side, but 770 rear shifts throughout the ride. So and it was pretty flat. So I know I was really good at like managing my power, staying in my zone because I didn't want to blow up. That was my part of my game plan.
And when I looked at mine, I thought mine would be much more than yours. And my rear shift count was 450.
450.
Yeah.
And you know what? When I'm thinking about that, I don't think that's too far off. And the reason why I say that is because I'm running DI 211 speed and I'm running a 5342. and you got 12 speed, and I think what you run like a 48, 35,
48, 36.
48, 36. So you probably wouldn't need to shift as much because your gears are probably I think your gears
The jump is a
were
lot smaller.
a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And that gear range was probably better to have on a Century because I got bigger gears, try to be fast, and I don't think that was. If I could change my gears for the Century ride, I think that might be a thing. If I did another Century ride, I'd probably change my gears. I'd probably run like a 52-36 up front instead of a 53-42. Because even the normal one is a 53-39, and I run a 42 because I personally don't like the way the 39 spin. But if I was going to do a Century again, I'd probably change my front chain rings and run a 52-36. That'd probably help me manage my power even more.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, as far as the length of the ride, me doing a lot of, because I do a lot of long rides, the 50, the 60.
Yeah.
So, that was kind of like, you know what? Maybe the Century is not as bad as it looks.
Yeah.
I think the biggest part would be the aftermath. How is my
Yeah.
body going to feel the day
Afterwards.
after?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but wasn't that bad.
Wasn't that bad?
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I think, the quads, a little sore, but I think back to the recovery ride.
Yeah, that probably would have sped that up. Because Sunday I felt a little sore, but not that bad. But you said for you it was more Monday, not the day after the day after the day after. I was like, okay.
So yeah, good.
I would really want to get into. We should do a time trial race.
Time trial.
We got two badass Fujis.
I know, right? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what time trial? 10 miles. Sometimes they have those road races where you show up and they'll have like a road race and a time trial.
Okay. I think that would be it.
That would be it.
I think that would definitely be the one.
What y'all think the next challenge should be? You gotta let us know. Drop me a comment or something on what you think the next thing should be. We ran the marathon. We did the Century. What's next?
Yeah, because I want to bite off 3, and I want to do a try.
Try is a lot.
Yeah.
And are you interested in the Ironman? I'm not interested in the Ironman.
No.
That's too extreme for me.
I think maybe a few years ago. No. No. Although, I mean, we do know some people who are,
serious athletes.
Yeah.
And Gary?
Gary.
Yeah. Gary said he woke up one day and ran a half a marathon.
And then did it how many days later?
He did another one 2 weeks later. Just because he felt like it. Somebody was talking about it. I was like, that's crazy.
I'm like, okay, I couldn't have did that. I needed to spin up, but but Gary's an athlete, man. It's an athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Century Rod in the books. Like I said, if you are liking the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. I got some more stuff coming. And I appreciate y'all coming on this journey. Century down. On to the next one.
All right. If you hadn't done it,
get to it.
Get to it.
We are out.